Hello, baseball fans. Once again, this is King Ikibu coming to you live from the underground bunker, where once again we are starting a new series, the fourth game of the Mad Tournament Series 1900s edition. We've talked about the first three series in the previous video in the introduction to the Rostercard video, and now we're just going to go straight in and show you the game and how it works if you don't know so far. I'm just going to, we're going to set the location. It's what do they call it? It's not Briggs. It's at the Briggs Stadium. Let's see, what was it? Bennett Park. Bennett Park. So we're gonna put in Bennett Park here. Bennett Park. There we go. We're going to save scorecard. We have to be very particular about this ball score thing. It's very particular. Let's put the nice way. Particular is the nice way of saying it. All right. So we're going to play some roster card baseball using the Mad King tournament, and we're going to play the first game of the series between the Cleveland Naps of 1908 and the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers were the real American League champions. They lost to the mighty Cubs in the World Series, but they tried at least. They finished first in the National League. They were first in runs scored with 644 runs, which is this is a very defensive season, the 1908 season, one of the most I've seen. And pitching, they were sixth with a 2.40 ERA, was sixth in the American League. The Naps, we talked before in the previous video how unlucky they were. For instance, the 1906 Naps were first in runs, first in ERA, first in fielding percentage, and yet finished third in the American League. So they are one of the most unluckiest teams that ever was. Not quite as dramatic in 1908. They were second in runs scored, but you see second in runs scored with 570 versus first. So it's 70 runs difference between 1 and 2. Tigers were well ahead of everybody in the American League in runs scored. The Naps were second with 570, but they were first in ERA with a 2.02 ERA. And then we look at fielding. They were third in fielding percentage. So, and I still make the case. If you're second in runs scored and first in ERA and third in fielding percentage, I think most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, you win your division or your pennant. It's just as simple as that. They were an unlucky team. The other two Nap teams were -9 in luck. They were only -2, so they're not as unlucky as the others, which means they're probably, they're only half game behind. And this is the strange thing about baseball then. I mean, today, if it was a 90-63 record for the first place team and the 90-64 for the second place team, they would make that team play their last game. They would make them play so that they would have the same amount, because if Detroit loses their last game, whoever they play against, then you have a tie and then you have a playoff. But now, I mean, they just leave it. They just leave the discrepancy here. So it's very curious to me. They wouldn't do that today. They'd make Detroit play the game that they were missing. And then they would, if Detroit wins it, hey, they win the pennant, fair and square. But this way, half a game, that's just not right. But let's get to the game. Where I know I like to talk about different things, but let's go to the lineup we're going to start with the visitors, the 1908 Cleveland Naps. And you wonder aren't they the Indians? Cleveland Naps, what does that mean? Well, they were named after their most popular player, Napoleon Lajoie. So it's kind of like if today the Philadelphia Phillies would be called the Philadelphia Harps after their new shiny toy, Bryce Harper. It'd be the same kind of thing. Of course, Bryce Harper to Philadelphia isn't as beloved as the Napoleon Lajoie was to the Cleveland Naps. He was one of the most loved players throughout baseball back at that time. You just read about the 1911 MVP award. I think they call it the Chalmers Award after the tractor company back then who sponsored the award. But the players all wanted Napoleon Lajoie to win over Ty Cobb, and I think he did win. But years later, like 60 years later, when the stats people got their nose in the thing, they found out that Ty Cobb should have won the batting title that year. Anyway, I divert. I just go off in different tangents, as you know. But we are going to play the game. We're going to put the game into this program that I'm fighting with, Ball Score. And you can find out all the mistakes I make. Usually it's when I put in a new picture or something. I put in a new picture in, and it doesn't register. It doesn't register that I put a new picture in, and it shows the original pitcher pitching the whole game when he didn't. That's usually the mistake that I make. But you can give me pointers on what I'm doing wrong if I have to make some pitching changes. But here's the lineup for the Cleveland Naps. Leading off, and I'll just put it to 1. So we start with the top guy. Leading off and playing right field, Josh Clark. And there was a lot of turnover in 2 years from the team that we saw in 1906 to the 1908 team. Josh Clark wasn't on that team. Batting second, he was on the team. George Stovall batting first base. Batting third, he definitely was on that team. The second baseman, Napoleon Lajoie. Batting third, a guy who wasn't on the team. Left fielder, Bill Hinchman and Elmer Flick. The really good batter right behind Lajoie is no longer on the team. Bill Hinchman batting fourth, playing left field. Batting fifth, the Senator, Bill Bradley. He is playing third. Batting sixth, the catcher, Nig Clark. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Terry Turner. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Joe Birmingham. And batting ninth, the starting pitcher, Addie Joss. Now for the Detroit Tigers. Leading off and playing center field, Matty McIntyre. Batting second, the guy who was on the Naps in 1906 is now on the Tigers. The first baseman, Claude Rossman. Batting third, you might have heard of him, the right fielder, Ty Cobb. Batting fourth, the left fielder, Sam Crawford. Batting fifth, the shortstop, Germany Schaefer. Batting sixth, the catcher, Boss Schmidt. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Red Downs. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Bill Coughlin. And batting ninth, the starting pitcher, Ed Summers. So, of course, we go to away, as the visiting team are the Cleveland Naps. They are the underdog in this series, and let's get this one underway. So I'll go kind of slow at the beginning and explain how this game works. You probably have seen a lot better tutorial videos, like Chris at Stratomatic Delaware has the best tutorial video, but I'm doing more like the helper, how to use the helper, and we've talked about in the previous video how this helper takes away all the objections that people have about this game. It just eliminates them and puts them into dust, because this takes it away. This makes the game and just shines the engine brightly of this game and lets it in all its glory be demonstrated to all that want to see. And you can see here all the defense is here. So let's go through the defense, what this means. So Boss Schmidt is the catcher, and he is S, which stands for superhuman arm. He has a great arm, which will cut down a lot of the base stealing in this game. Then there's a comma. That comma means he's an average defensive catcher. He has a strong arm, but his catching ability is average. And his error number is 1, and 1 is a very good error number. So basically on a 1 to 4 error check, he will only get an error if it's a 1 out of 4. So 25% of the time on a catcher check, he will make an error. We go to Claude Rossman at first base. He's a W. That stands for weenie arm. Just think of weenies and superhuman and weenies. So he's got not much. He's got a noodle arm. He's got a comma as well. So that means he's an average defensive first baseman. And he's also an average, or a little bit above average, or I guess below average error. So he gets 3 out of a roll of 1 to 4. He will get an error 75% of the time. Then at second base, we have Red Downs. He has an A arm, which it's average. And he also has a comma, average fielder, and he has a 7 error. Now you say, well, the error roll is 1 to 4. How can he, what's the 7 about? Well, he's so bad with errors that not only when you roll a 94, you check and you get a roll of 1 to 4, it's a check on his error. He will most certainly get an error, but that carries over to when the roll is 44, because the 4 represents second base. The rolls also of 1, 2, and 3 will also be errors on the red dice. So we will probably see this happen. He makes so many errors that on the regular check, he gets an error, and then also on the 44, you have to check for errors for red downs. That's how bad he is. Then you have Germany Schaefer. Now, he's kind of a contrast here. Germany Schaefer at short. He's a strong arm, so he's got a mighty super arm. He's got an asterisk, which means he has outstanding range and outstanding defensive ability, but he has 8 in his error. So the carryover to the number, so if you roll a 96, that's the shortstop error check. And not only that, but the 46 is also on a red die. 1 to 4 will be error. He makes a lot of errors, but he's got a strong arm and he has huge range. So I guess that makes sense. You get to a lot of balls, you have a lot more chance of making errors. And that's what Germany Schaefer, who also was, I hear, a character of the game. I remember hearing somewhere that he was a jokester, this Germany Schaefer dude. And then we go to Bill Coughlin at third base. And he has a noodle arm. He has a weak, a wimpy, weenie arm, I guess we are calling it. Exclamation mark here means he is horrible defensively. So he has no range at third. He's got a weak arm, and he's like a 3, which compared to 8 and 7 is marvelous. But he makes above average errors. So he's not a very good fielder, and he's not a very good hitter. So the Tigers definitely could use an upgrade at third base. Then you have the outfield. You have Sam Crawford in left. He has an average arm. He has poor range, but he makes very few errors. Then you got Matty McIntyre in center. He has a great arm. He's got great range, and he makes very few errors. Only a 1 out of 4 he gets an error. And that's Ty Cobb. Has a superhuman arm. He has average range, and he makes very few errors. The Bennett Park takes away home runs, -3 on home runs. Ed Summers takes away 0. So overall, it's a -3 on. So you see here, Josh Clark has a home run rating of 8. For this Bennett Park, and against this pitcher, it really is a 5 instead of an 8. He loses 3 because of the ballpark. Okay, so we look at Ed Summers. He's the starting pitcher for today's game. He was a credible, you look at his numbers, he was 24-12 with a 1.64 ERA, which is pretty remarkable. 1.64, very good ERA. His hit rating, so anything rolled in the 60s, this is a 10-sided die. So anything from 0-1 to 0-0 is 100. Anything in between, the first dice is a 6. You look at the hit column or hit range, and anything from 0 to 6 would be a hit. Anything 7, 8, and 9 would be an out. Then you look at the walk range is a 70s, 70 to 79. That is, he has below average walks. 0 to 3 would be a walk, and 74 to 79 would be an out. And then a strikeout is 80s, and he doesn't strike many people out. Only on 80, 81, and 82 he strikes people out. Anything higher than that is just an out. Wild pitch is average 3. He can face 33 batters before the fatigue system kicks in and when he starts, and 16 when he relieves. In a 4-game stretch, this is the maximum amount of batters he can face. And it doesn't mean he can come in relief and get 16. I mean, it's 33 between both. And then his defense is average arm, so his average move, I guess you would call it. He is average defensively, and he makes very few errors, and he's 23 years old. So that's how you read the ratings here. Now, when it comes to the offensive ratings for the batter. You can see here he plays right field. He's a left-handed batter. He's the first batter in the lineup. He's 29 years old. He runs quite fast, not super fast. Like fast with an exclamation mark is Ricky Henderson fast. And fast, F is pretty fast. Average and slow is Addy Joss. So extra base hit. So you roll a 0-1 or 0-2. He gets a extra base hit. Then you look at the green section. So if you get an 0-1 or 0-2, he hits very few extra base hits. When he does, 8. If you roll an 8, you get a home run, but because of the ballpark, it goes down to a 5. Anything from 6 to 69 is a double, and from 70 to 100 would be a triple. Then in over 2, so 3 to 13 would be a single. Anything 14 to 21 would be a walk. 22 would be a hit by pitch. Anything from 23 to 32 would be a strikeout. Anything from 33 to 56 would be an out. And then 57, 58, and 59 would be a lefty-righty split. So in this case, Summers is a right-handed pitcher and Clark is a left-handed batter. So 57, 58, and 59 would all be singles. This is his sacrifice hit number, which is 5, which is the best you can get. And he is not a very good hit and run man. He strikes out a lot. You can see there's a pretty decent gap between 22 and 33. The 32 means he strikes out more than the average dead baller. So he has a C hit and run. Now here's his stolen bases. He had 37 stolen bases during the season in 1908. And this is his automatic steal. So the way you can play, some people play that the guy gets on, hey, I want to steal. And they just roll the stolen base number and the steal, simple as that. It would lead to way too many steals if you do that way. You can also do it so that you have to get the jump. Because he's an average hold, Summers is, you'd have to roll like a 1 to 3 to get the jump. That would make it less likely. But I think the best way to do it is to have the automatic roll. So if he gets a base hit or a walk, and this second roll here is 1 to 5, he has to go. He just has to go, just like a little kid in the grocery store. They just have to go. You have to find a bathroom. The same thing here. If he gets 1 to 5, he has to go. There's no choice. Now, you say, well, all these are 100. That doesn't, 100, he's going to get certain stolen bases. Well, that's because this is based on the stats, and they did not keep track of caught stealings in 1908. So the way that, I looked on the boards and I was told what to do in this case, and it makes sense. I think that the average was around 50 to 55 was the average stolen base percentage back then. And so if he is a F exclamation mark, his stolen base number would be 75. And if he's a F, like Clark is, it's a 65. And if it's an A, it's a 50. And if it's an S, it's a 40. That's what I've been doing. And I think it's probably pretty accurate. So, but what's also a factor here is the catcher. So we know that superhuman arm of Bosch Schmidt he takes off 10 off the stolen base rating. So if Josh Clark gets on base and he gets an automatic steal number, it's 65 because he's an F, but it goes down to 55 because of Bosch Schmidt's arm. So he has to roll a 1 to 55 to get the stolen base. If it's 56 or higher, then he's thrown out. And that's the way that works. So let's see what the advantage is. Nick Clark also has a very strong arm, so it works both ways. So let's get this one underway. We learn by doing. So we will start. We have Josh Clark up against Ed Summers. And here's the roll. It's an 82. So we look, 80s are 80 to 89 is the strikeout. So we see that 82 is within his strikeout range. So Ed Summers starts off the series with a strikeout. And there it is. He is out on ball score. And then we go, next batter is George Stovall. And you can see here he was a 292 hitter with 2 homers in 534 at-bats. So we roll the dice for him. It's a 91. 91 is a wild pitch check, but there's nobody on base. So in this case, it's just a ground out to pitcher. So ground out to pitcher. This game is very fast. I mean, the only thing that is slowing us down is my yapping at this point. But I just want to teach you the game, right? You're learning. So here's Napoleon Lajoie. We saw him batting in the 350s in the first 2 series in 1904 and 1906. He dipped a lot this season. That's one of the reasons why I say it was a very offensively challenged season. 1908 is Napoleon Lajoie, who always hits over 300, is actually 289 in 1908. So here's the roll for Lajoie, 22. So we see here 22, and his walk rating is 22, so he gets the walk. However, there's something here called the on the button. I call it on the nose. So with the walk, it says asterisk catcher frames the pitch and gets the call for a strikeout if you hit it right on the nose. And that's what we just did. We hit it on the nose. But Schmidt is not an asterisk pitcher, which means he's Pudge Rodriguez, Johnny Bench type of fielder. He is an average catcher, so he doesn't get the frame, so it definitely is a walk. Now the roll here is 2, and you see the automatic number is 2, so Lajoie is going to have to steal. So we go A, W, and now comes the steal. Now we talked about this before. He is an A runner. So that's a 50, and then you add in Schmidt's arm. It takes 10 off, so we have to roll a 1 to 40 to get a successful stolen base. Anything over that is a caught stealing, so chances are he's going to be out. Here's the roll. 71, he is caught. So that ends the inning. And there's the put out. And after 1/2 inning, we're scoreless. Go to the home team to face Addy Joss. Addy Joss, you can see if you go compare the pitchers, Ed Summers has a 66 hit and a 73 walk. Addy Joss is 62 hit and 70 walk. He is, he's an amazing pitcher. Let's just put it that way. Incredible pitcher. These are the best numbers I think I've seen so far, but I haven't seen everybody. I haven't seen Bob Gibson yet of 1968 or something like that. But what I've seen, Addy Joss of 08 is the best pitcher that I've seen so far. So here's McIntyre. He batted 295, no home runs. Here's the roll. It is a 75. 75 is a walk check, but to get a walk, we have to roll a 70. Anything else in the 70s is a ground out. In this case, the 5 tells you who the position is. It's third base. 5 is third base, so it's a ground out to third base. 1 away. And I just go 5-3, and the first one is out. Next batter, Claude Rossman. Roll the dice. 99. So you notice there that when you click on the next batter, it gives a roll. I don't accept that roll. I just tell you flat out. I go, so we can talk about the hitter, I do the roll after, okay? Just so there's no confusion there. So here's a 99. This is our first defensive check. Now, the defensive check, in this case, 99, is for Josh Clark. He's the 9. He's the right fielder, which is 9. So if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, it's an error check. And if it's a 5 or 6, it is a range check. Now, you don't get as many range checks as you do. So if you look at the rules here, let's see where it would be defense. Defense, pitcher. It's all backwards here. So here we go. Defense. So I can expand this so we can see it better. Okay, so we can see that the awful range is this. The comma is average range. On the range check, awful range, exclamation mark, gives up a single if the SD is 5 or 6. Average range, comma, gives up a single if it's 6. So we don't roll again. The reason why we're looking at a range check is because it's a 5. So you look at Josh Clark. He has a comma, if you remember. If this would have been a 6, he would give up a single. He's an average fielder. If he's if we click it, then it's going to give us a new number here. So I don't want to do that. It was. I can remember that Sam Crawford had an exclamation mark. If this was hit to Sam Crawford, it would be a single because he's awful range. But Josh Clark is average. He makes the play on a 5. So in this case, it's just a fly out to right field and not a single. So a fly out, 2 away. Do you understand that? It's because it's average range. If it would have been a 6, he would have given up a single, but it's 5, so he did not. Makes the play. Next is Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb batted .324, had 4 homers in 581 at-bats. Definitely the class of this series offensively. Here's the roll to Ty Cobb. 87. That is a strikeout check. If it would have been 80 to 84, it would have been a strikeout for Joss, but it's higher, so it's just a fly out to center field. And that comes into play, if there's a runner on third, you need the strikeout to keep the runner at third. If it's a fly out, he will score. So that's why you want a strikeout pitcher mostly, to prevent that runner from scoring on an 80s check. All right, so that's it for the Tigers. We go to the bottom or the top of the second. Bill Hinchman, roll the dice. 54. 54 is between the 27, which is a strikeout, and the 56. So it's an out, and in this case, ground out to second base. 1 away. 4-3. Simple as that. Next batter, Bill Bradley. Roll the dice. 08. If it was an 08 here, it would have been extra base hit. But it's higher than extra base hit, but it's lower than the single, so it is a base hit. The 8 is greater than the 2, so he does not steal. So he gets a base hit. We have our first hit of the ball game. Is Bill Bradley. He is on base with 1 out here in the second inning. Nid Clark is up. He is a decent hit and run man, but not great, and he is a 5 sacrifice hit. Behind him are a bunch of poor hitters. We're getting progressively worse as time goes on. So in this case, I don't know if I want to bunt. So what we'll do, sure. We got to put the guy in scoring position. So we will bunt. We'll show you the bunt mechanic. Now, there's another game that's called Dugout Steps, I think. No, Fall Classic. Fall Classic. It's made by the same guy. In that case, it's a lot simpler sacrifice hit. You just roll the 5. If he's a 5 sacrifice hit, roll a 5. He gets it down. Roll a 5 again. It is successful. However, in this game, it's more complicated than that. The first roll determines, it's the same way. If 1 to 5 means it's a successful bunt, he gets it down, and it shows you which fielder fields the bunt. But then that fielder's arm plays a part in what comes next. We'll see what happens here. So we're going to roll the dice. I think, we'll just, I don't think it moves. Sometimes if this is not the highlighted window, I don't get a roll. So we'll try it again. Okay, so the first, he got the bunt down. It's to the 2, so that means that the catcher fields it. The catcher is a strong arm. So in that other game, the 5 would be, 5-5. But because Bosch Schmidt has a strong arm, he actually takes one off the second roll. So now it only is successful 1 to 4. So if it's a 5 or 6, he throws successfully for the lead runner. But if it's 1 to 4, it goes to the first base. In fact, it's even more complicated than that, because if it's a 1, also different things happen. If we roll a 1 the second time, we'll see what we get here. And then once again, I think the window wasn't, because I went to the other card. So we'll roll it again. 6. So in this case, it is, if the second roll is 6, it's popped up. Roll again. Okay, so we'll see. Sacrifice. First roll sees the butter go down. If outside the range, it's strike 2, roll again. Outside again, it's strike out. Second roll sees if it's a good sacrifice. If outside the range, then the lead runner is out and the batter is safe. If a second roll is 6, it's popped up. Roll again. If die roll is 2, then lead runner also out, double play. So we roll a third time. If this is a 2 this time, not going to do that, but I'm going to make sure this is the window that's highlighted. If I roll a 2 now, it's going to be a double play. So it's not. So Bosch Schmidt throws the second and gets the lead runner fielder's choice. Fielder's choice is here. So it is 2 to 6. Lead runner. And the batter is safe. Catcher to shortstop. So we have a runner at first base with 2 out. So Clark does not do his job. So it brings up Terry Turner with a runner on first and 2 out here in the second inning. Roll 0-2. So here we're going to get our first extra base hit. Terry Turner is an extra base hit of 6. That's within his range. So we roll again. So we go to this green column. He doesn't have any possibility of a home run. You can see he didn't hit any home runs. So anything from 01 to 92 would be a double. And if we roll 93 or higher, then it's a triple. So we roll an 88. It's close, but it is just a double. Now we look here at the advanced chart. We have a runner on first base. On a double, first to home, all runner scores. So the Naps are going to take the lead on this play. They hit a double, and the runner scores. It's 1-0 Cleveland. A clutch 2 out double by Terry Turner. And he is at second base now for Joe Birmingham. He's not a very good hitter, but he is still better than Joss. So we'll go ahead and just put him on. Don't want to risk any more runs. So we're going to intentionally walk him. Generic walk. And then we have to go back here and change this to intentional. I'm learning this ball score. Okay, so the next batter is Addy Joss. He is not a very good hitter, as you might imagine. So here's the roll to Addy Joss. It's 91. There's men on base. So in this case, it's a chance for a wild pitch. The roll is 5. It's higher than his wild pitch rating. So in that case, it's a ground out to pitcher. He doesn't make the wild pitch. It's a ground out, 1-3. And the runner doesn't matter because it's a third out. And it's 1-0 after 1.5. Now it's back to the Tigers. Ty Cobb was the last guy last time, so it's Sam Crawford. Batted .311 with 7 homers in 1908. Here's the roll. 1-4. That is a single. The 4 is less than his automatic steal, so it's no stolen base. So the Tigers lead off with a single. Next batter is Germany Schaefer. He is going to bunt. He's also a super fast runner. They have 2 super fast runners on the Tigers. One is Ty Cobb and the other is Germany Schaefer. So he is going to roll for the sacrifice. First one is a 5. So he gets the bunt down. And the bunt goes to the third baseman, who is Bradley, who has a weak arm. So what that means, it's everything is going to be successful because of his poor arm. He's not going to be able to throw out the lead runner because he's got a wet noodle for an arm. So we don't even have to roll the dice here. Well, we do, because if we get a 1, then something else could happen. So we roll, and it's a 1. So whenever I look at this thing, it takes the game out of the forefront window. But when it's a run, if the second roll is a 1, then we roll the dice again. And something else might happen. So I have to make sure this is the highlighted. And then I roll the dice. It's a 1 again. So we look at the fast runner beats it out for a base hit. So in this case, Jeremy Schaefer is not only fast, he is superhuman fast. So we have a infield single. So it just is a single then. And the runner advances, and we have 2 men on with nobody out for Boss Schmidt. Boss Schmidt is up. He's a switch hitter. So he has all the lefty, righty split is in his favor. He is going to bunt. He's a good hit and run man, and he's a good bunter. Might as well bunt again, huh? Okay, we're going to bunt again. So here's the bunt. You're going to be an expert in bunts. Make sure it's highlighted. Roll the dice. 4, he gets it down, and it goes to the first baseman, who has an average arm, so it doesn't affect the bunt in any way. So it's still a roll of 5 is what we're looking for. And the roll is 4. So it's a successful bunt. So we hit sacrifice. Both runners advance. It goes to the first baseman. So the putout is the first baseman. And assist is the first baseman. Assist first baseman. And the putout is, not error, putout is the second baseman. And the wheel play. So now we have runners at second and third with 1 out. And normally we would, Red Downs, he's a 221 hitter. We could put him on and get Bill Coughlin, who is about the same. We could play the runners in. I think with 2 men on, we wouldn't want to do that, or 2 men on base. So I think we'll play back. We'll allow the run to score and make sure we get the out. So that's where, and we'll, because even if they score, it's just a tie game. And we're only in the second inning. So we don't want to have a big inning here. So here's the roll to Red Downs. He is a right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. Here's the roll, 92. It's a pass ball check. The roll is 6. There's no pass ball. So in this case, because there's runners on, he just gets another roll. So we're going to roll again. 05. 05 is an extra base hit. So the 3, he has a 7 chance of a home run, but the ballpark puts it down to 4, and Addy Joss puts it down to 3. So roll again, 80. So it's higher than 79. It is a triple for Red Downs. 2 runs will score, and it's now Detroit 2, Cleveland 1, and a runner still at third base with 1 out. So excellent play by Red Downs. Brings up Bill Coughlin. We'll bring the infield in now. We want to cut down that runner. We don't want to fall behind anymore. So infield is in. I declare it to the world. The infield is in. Okay, let's see what the roll is. 88. 88 is not the strikeout. Here's what I mean. Here's exactly what we talked about before. If he was a great strikeout man, he'd strike out and the batter would stay at third. However, in this case, because of the roll, even though it's a fly out to center field, the runner still holds because of the dice roll. So we have a chance anyway of scoring the run. In this case, it didn't happen. So it's a fly out, runner stays at third, and there's now 2 away. For the pitcher, Ed Summers, the infield comes back. Ed Summers, imagine, is not a very good hitter. Here's the dice roll. 15. Normally that would be something good for the batter. In this case, it's a strikeout and the inning is over. So after 2 complete, it's Detroit 2, Cleveland 1. We go to the away team. Next batter is Josh Clark. He struck out first time. Here's the roll. 12. He's on with a base hit. 4 is his second one. He has to go. He's a fast runner. 65 minus 10 is a 55 chance. So, base hit. And now the automatic steal. 55 or less. Make sure we're highlighted. 55 or less. 0-1. So it's an 0-1. And in this case, when it's an 0-1, where's that one? I'm going to learn where all these things exactly are. I just know it's here. Base stealing. Right here. If the number is 01 to 09, refer to the catcher's defensive number rating. If equal to or less than, the runner is safe stealing and advances an extra base on the bad throw. The roll is 1. Bosch Schmidt's number is 1. He makes a bad throw. So Josh Clark steals second And then he... I want to credit... I want to... Okay, so it's... Error goes to third. Now, it doesn't mark who the error is on, so I go back here and I credit error to the last... Runner reach third. Okay, so this is going to give me... Yes, okay, so error on the catcher. That's the way you've got to do it. If there's an easier way to do it, let me know, please. You people who know this program well. So, stolen base, error to third. Runner at third with nobody out. Next batter, George Stovall. The defense is kind of the same again. It's a one-run lead we have. Detroit has. We're going to play back and hope for the... if they score the run, it's just a tie game in the third inning. Just trying to stay out of the big inning. Here's Stovall. Stovall grounded to the pitcher last time. Here's the pitch. Oh, yes, we have to make sure it's highlighted. Here's the pitch. 23. 23 is higher than 21 and lower than 25, so he gets a clutch strikeout. So there's still runner on third. So in this case, we might think about bringing the infield in. However, the next batter is their best hitter, Lajoie, so we'll leave it back. Here's the dice roll. It is a 15. That is a base hit. So Lajoie walks, and then he drives singles and drives in a run. The tying run, 5 is higher than his automatic, so he doesn't try to steal again. Scores, and we have a tie game at 2. Next batter, Hinchman, 09, base hit. Base hit, single to right field, first and third, all runners advance. So we have a base hit, runner goes to third. So there's 2 men on with 1 out here in the third. Next batter, Bill Bradley. He drove in the first runner, I believe. Wasn't it him? No, it was Terry Turner. Terry Turner did it. Anyway, it's first and third, 1 out. Hoping for the double play for the Tigers. Here we go. Roll the dice. 32. 32 is higher than a strikeout, but it's an out. And in this case, it's a pop out to third base. So the runners do not advance. Pop out, third base, runners hold. 2 out now. Next batter is Nig Clark. Roll the dice. 08. 08 is a base hit. Runner at third, of course, scores. And the one that's at first, he holds at second. So we have a base hit. Runner scores. He stays at second. And it scores now 3-2 Cleveland. A lot of scoring here in this non-offensive season. Here's Terry Turner. Roll the dice. 28. Higher than the strikeout, lower than the out. It's a fly out to center field, inning over. But they score 2 runs, and the Naps lead 3-2. Halfway through the third inning. We're going to go a little bit quicker now. Go to home, and up next is Matty McIntyre. He rolls a 27. It's just higher than the hit by pitch, so it's a strikeout. Strikeout for McIntyre. Next batter, LaRossman. He rolls a 37. It's an out. It's a fly out to left. Very quick game. Ball score takes the most time. Next batter, Ty Cobb. Cobb flied out to center first time up. Roll the dice. 65. That's the hit column, or the hit on the pitcher, but he doesn't give up many hits. So it's an out. Ground ball to third base. Inning over. 5-3. Inning over. We go to the fourth. 3-2 Cleveland. Go to away. Next batter, Joe Birmingham. Roll the dice. 46. Now we talked about this. 46 is the carryover for the error on the shortstop. He is an atrocious 8. Because the first 4 get used up by the 96, we have 4 left over because 8 minus 4 is 4. So this will be an error on Schaefer. It's a 2-base error on Schaefer. So to do that, we have to click this and hit reach second on an error on the shortstop, Schaefer. So we have a man in scoring position with nobody out here in the fourth. Brings up the pitcher, Addy Joss. He can't hit at all, so he will try to bunt the man to third base. Here's the first roll. 1. Now, is there something special that happens when you roll a 1 first time? These are the kind of things I want to be precise. First roll gets it down. Nope. Doesn't seem like there's anything special about the first. All it goes is the pitcher. The pitcher is an average arm, so it doesn't make it a 4, doesn't make it a 6. You're going to still a 5. Roll the dice again. Yes, we have to roll it again twice. And this time it's a 1. So we have that same situation where something special is going to happen on this advanced chart. We're going to roll it one last time. We have to highlight this. And it's again a 1. So I think we had this before. F runner beats it out for a base hit. Now, unfortunately for the Indians or the Naps, Addy Joss is a very slow runner. So in this case, it's just a sacrifice bunt for Joss. And it's to the pitcher, we said, right? So the assist goes to the pitcher. And we won't have a wheel play going, just to the first baseman this time. So there's a man out, and the runner is now at third base with 1 out. And they're hoping this time we're going to bring the infield in to face Josh Clark. He is struck out and singled and scored. Now, another thing that ball score doesn't do is register unearned runs very well. And in this case, okay, we look here. There's a single. He got to third on the error. So is this run earned? I think with the hits, I think he would have scored regardless, so it's earned. You know, when Stratomatic and all those other games do this for you, and this one you have to really think. But that way you get to learn how to score a game properly. So here we go. We have an infield in, runner at third, Clark up to bat. Here's the roll. It's an 0-5. It's a base hit. The second roll's a 5, so he's going to have to steal. He's an F55. So the run scores. Another base hit. The Naps score again. It's 4-2. And Clark is going to have to steal. 65 minus 10 is 55. That's the success number. He rolls a 56. He just barely. We can call the replay if they had replay in 1908. Of course they didn't, so he is out. Caught stealing. So 4-2. Now there's 2 out. You can tell over here there's 2 outs. And that brings up Stovall. Roll the dice. 21. That is a single, but it's right on the nose. So batter tries to stretch, hit into the double versus the outfielder's arm rating. So to me, that sounds like he has to go. Or no, we have a choice. I think we have a choice, yeah. So in this case, on the nose, do we want to? It'd be 4, so that's a center fielder. He's a strong arm. And if it says right here, 1-7 on the second dice is out. And that means 8, 9, and 0 would be safe. So we are not going to try. No, with the rocket arm, we're not going to try. So he's going to stay at first base. He gets the base hit. So there's 2 away. Well, it does register. This one here is an unearned run. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Next batter, Lajoie. Roll the dice, 99. That's a range check on Cobb. He is a comma. So we found this before. He makes the play successfully, fly out to right field, and that should end the inning. But the Naps, I always want to call them the Tribe, the Naps score another run, and it's 4-2 for Cleveland. They're doing very well in this series. They're showing exactly what I said, that they are the most unlucky team of the first decade of the 20th century. And they pretty much have bad luck throughout their entire history as well. Okay, so we go to the home team now, and Cobb was up last, so it's Crawford. So here's the dice to Crawford. He rolls a 21, which is a base hit. He has a chance, if he wants, to try to stretch it. It's an S, so he's not going to do that. So Crawford reaches. Now the other thing we have to check is whether he has to steal. 1. Yes, he has to try to steal. He's a fast runner. So 65 minus 10. So he has to go. And just like a little kid in the candy or in the grocery store, they have to go. And so here's the roll. 71, he is caught stealing. Caught stealing. So that leadoff hitter is out. Next batter. Germany Schaefer. Roll the dice. 54. That's an out. Ground out to second base. 4-3. 2 away here in the fourth. Next batter. Bosch Schmidt. Roll the dice. 0-1. It's in his extra base. Roll again. 33. It is a double. Double. 2-out double for Bosch Schmidt. Next batter. Red Downs. Roll the dice. 27. It is above his K. Out. Fly out to left field. Inning over. So after 4 complete, the score is Cleveland 4, Detroit 2. We go away. We're starting the 5th inning with Bill Hinchman. Roll the dice. 58. That is in the left-righty. So Hinchman is a right-handed batter. Summers is a right-handed pitcher. He is out. Fly out to center field. If he would have been a left-handed batter or a switch hitter, he would have had a single. Next batter, Bradley. Roll the dice. 23. 23 is a strikeout right on the nose. And if a guy is a asterisk catcher, he doesn't frame the pitch and it's ball 4. But in this case, Schmidt is not an asterisk pitcher. He is a comma pitcher, which is average. So he gets the strikeout. He frames the pitch successfully. And we just go like this. And I hit. That's the one key stroke I know is the strikeout. I'll probably learn more later. Here's Nick Clark. He is, what has he done so far? He has singled and hit into a fielder's choice. So he's 1 for 2. Roll the dice on Clark. 0-3's in his extra base. He has a chance of a home run if he rolls a 4 or less. He rolls a 76, which is higher than 20. He has a triple. Triple for the catcher. But there's 2 out. I always feel that 2-out triples are just a waste. Next batter, Terry Turner. He's already driven a run in this game. Here's the roll. 64. 64 is a hit because it's within his hit range of 0 to 66. Base hit 4. 7. He has to go. He has a lot of very high stolen base. So he gets an RBI single. He is a super fast runner, so it's a 75 minus the 10. 65 is a successful rate for steal, so he's going to roll that, and he gets the stolen base. What a guy, Terry Turner. He drives in the run, first of all, gets the RBI, then he steals second. He is the man. He is 2 for 3, and... did he drive? He drove in this run. So he drove in 2 runs so far. We can tell for sure we can look at the box score at any time. So we can see here that Turner is 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. And that makes the score 5-2 Cleveland. Next batter, Birmingham with a man in scoring position. So in this case, there is 2 out. They are going to put him on intentional walk. So a walk, go back, change it to an intentional to face the hitting the pitcher that can't hit it all, Addy Joss. Here's the roll. 65. Now 65 is within the pitcher's hit range. So it is also a hit. Now if you look at so there's a man on second. It says second to home, all runners score. The guy in first, if he's FA or A runner, he goes to third. So the man on second is Terry Turner. He's super fast, so he's going to score. And Birmingham is an A runner, so he goes to third. So it is, we said we put down his hitting, but he came through, well, the pitcher choked basically. So he's going to score. He goes to third. And now there's first and third, and the score is 6-2 Cleveland. They are really coming out to hit today. Next batter, Josh Clark. Now we got to start looking at Ed Summers. He had a 1.64 ERA in real life. He's given up 6 runs. If he gives up one more, he is officially tired. The 7-run rule applies in this game. So one more run, and he's on the verge, but he can face 33 batters. We look at this. He's gone through 1 time, 2 times. Now he's gone through 3 times. That's 27. And we're only in the 5th inning. So more than likely, we're going to need a reliever. And you can tell me if I'm doing it wrong. So here's Clark. His man on first and third with 2 out. Here's the roll. 6-4. Another hit off Summers. And this time, the guy on first to third, he holds at second. So it's a base hit, and he is now tired. He's given up his 7th run, and the score is 7-2. And what else can we say? Ed Summers is tired, so we got to replace him now. And you see, in real life, he was a really good pitcher, but he's had a tough go of it today. Mullen will pitch. Well, will it be Mullen or Donovan? Yeah, we'll bring in Mullen now. He will be the reliever. George Mullen will come in and relief. So how do we do this? Go to the home dugout. You take out Summers by deleting his number in the lineup. Deleting this. I put a U here so I don't put him ever back in this game. Then I go down here, take him out of the picture, and put in Mullen to pitch instead. And I gotta delete. Then I find Mullen here, put him in the 9th spot, and put him as the pitcher. And that's, ta-da, Mullen is in the game. So next batter, do we score this one right? I think we did. So now we have to put a new pitcher in. So new pitcher, we brought in Mullen. He's batting 9th. Okay. And I think I did it right. Because if you go now, we go to the box score, and Mullen is showing. So yes, did it correctly that time. I believe so. Okay, we've got Stovall. Mullen is a right thrower. His hit is really bad, 69. So he's not a very good pitcher. He does nullify home runs better, though. So here is the roll. It's 7-2 Cleveland. And we have a 6-0, so that certainly is a hit. So it's 6-0. Where are we at here? We got a runner at second, who's Addy Joss. And what are we going to do with Addy Joss? Second to home, 1 base advance. So it's an infield hit. Just no more runs scored. It's still 7-2. But they just can't get the end of this inning. They're batting around as Lajoie is up. It is a blowout. Who would have thought it? 59. So that is the lefty-righty split. Mullen is right. Lajoie is right. It's an out. Fly ball to right. And finally, the inning is over. And they score 3 more runs. It's 7-2 Cleveland. So go to home. Next batter is Bill Coughlin. I'll check with here. Bill Coughlin is up next. Roll the dice. 62. That's a hit off Joss. That's only the 6th hit off him. He gets a base hit. The 2 is... So at this point, when you're in the 5th inning and the gap is so big, we don't have to... We can take off the automatic steal. So that's what we'll do. We don't... Usually in a 5-run game, you stop stealing. So that's what they're going to do. We're not going to steal anymore unless the game gets close again. So Coughlin is on. Next batter is Mullen. He will... I guess he'll sacrifice. He is 18 is not too bad. So he'll swing away. Here's the roll. 78. It is a fly out to center field. One away in the 5th. Next batter. Oops. Hit it twice. McIntyre. Here's the dice roll. 79. That's a fly out to right field. Runners hold. Runners hold. 2 away. Next batter. Rossman. The roll is 42. 42. There's no carryover. He's a 4. So it's a pop out to second base. Pop out, second base, inning over. So we go to the 6th. It's still 7-2. Next, go to the way. Next batter, Hinchman. Roll the dice, 42. 42, no carryover from the catcher. Pop out to the catcher. Okay, what am I doing here? So what happened? We're not in Cleveland, are we? Oh yeah, we are. Sorry. Get confused there for a second. Bill Bradley. 14. That is a base hit. And we said we're not stealing anymore. So Bradley, he's having a pretty good game. He is singled. Well, that's 2 for 4. Not too bad. He's on base now. Oh, the guy. That's the 14th hit for Cleveland. Next batter, Nick Clark. 78. 78 is above the walk. It's a fly out to center field. Fly out to center field. If you didn't have to score the game, it'd be much quicker. Next batter, Terry Turner. He's the one having a really good game. 45, carryover. No carryover. It's a ground ball to third base. We have 2 outs, so it doesn't matter what the runners are doing. It's just a ground out. End of inning. 5-3. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Okay, so we got to look at he has 32 batters. He is still only in his 3rd time, so he got a long way to go. Here is Rossman. Is Rossman up? No, Cobb is up. Cobb, roll the dice. 69. 69 is out of his hit range. It's a fly ball to right field. And I think I can publish this video that I had in the queue. There we go. I know if I do it too quickly, it goes really fuzzy. And then eventually it goes into high definition. You know, I don't know what that's about. Anyway, so Cobb is out. Next batter, Crawford. Roll the dice, 47. No carryover for Hinchman. It's a fly out to left. 2 away. Next batter, Jeremy Schaefer. Roll the dice, 17. 17 is on the nose base hit. We've seen what that is. It's a center field. He's a strong arm. He's not going to try to advance to the double. So Schaefer gets on with a single. Next batter, Bosch Schmidt. Roll the dice, 19. 19 is higher than the strikeout. He is out. Fly out to right. Inning is over. This is very quick once I'm doing it for instructional reasons, talking so much. Okay, we got Joe Birmingham up here in the 7th. Roll the dice, 42. No carryover from Schmidt. 42 is a pop out to the catcher. Pop out catcher, 1 away. Next batter is the pitcher, Josh. Roll the dice, 93. 93 is a check. It's higher than 4, so it's a range check on Rossman. He's a comma, so if it was a 6, he would allow a base hit, but it's a 5, he makes the play, ground out to first base. So we'll do it 3 unassisted. Next batter, Josh Clark with 2 out. Roll the dice. 2-5 is a strikeout. The game is simple as that. Mullen had a good inning that time. So go to home. Now it's Red Downs. Red Downs, roll the dice. 87 It's out of his strikeout range, but it's a fly out to center. 1 away. In the 7th inning, things going much faster now that I've stopped talking. Bill Coughlin, roll the dice. 43. No carryover from Stovall. It's ground out to first base. 2 away. 4-3. 2 out. Next batter, Mullen. Roll the dice. 09. Gets a base hit for the pitcher. Pitchers have hit pretty well in this game. So 2 out, single. Next batter, McIntyre. Roll the dice. 6-4. In a mere mortal, that would be a hit, but it's Joss who is amazing. So it's a ground out to second base. Inning over. He's now in his 3rd column. He's been through 3 times. We also have to watch for the reliever. He has 17. He started here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 he's faced. And this isn't a 4-game stretch, so if he goes to 17, he won't be allowed to pitch anymore in this series. But I think the Tigers have quite a few pitchers available to them. So it's no big whoop. So it's Stovall up. We're in the top of the 8th. Roll the dice. 1-1. That's a base hit. We're not going to try to steal. So it's a base hit for Stovall. That's hit number 15 for the Naps. Next batter, Lajoie. Lajoie is walked. He is singled. And he's flied out to right twice. Here's the dice roll. 16. Another single. First to 3rd is a superhuman runner gets to 3rd. Otherwise they don't. And it's Stovall, who is not superhuman. He's an average runner, so he stops at 2nd. That's the 3rd hit of the game for Lajoie. 2 men on, nobody out. Next batter, Pinchman. Roll the dice. 34. 34 is a ground out to second base. Double play. So we go ground into double. So it's to second base. So it's a 4-6-3. 4-6-3. The runner at second advances to 3rd. 2 away. And 2 out here in the 8th. Next batter, Bradley rolls the dice. 0-3. Gets extra base hit. Rolls again. 44. It's a double. Run scores. Run number 8 for Cleveland. And they lead 8-2 now. They are impressive. Here's Clark. Roll the dice. 80. 80's a strikeout. That ends the inning. Go to the bottom of the 8th. It's now 8-2 for the Naps. Go to home. Next batter, Rossman. Roll the dice. 0-4, extra base hit. Roll again, 46. That's a double. Rossman leads off the 8th inning with a double. Next batter, Cobb. What has Cobb done today? Not much. He's 0-3. Roll the dice. 27. It's an out. Fly out to left field. Runner at second holds. Fly out to left field. Runner holds. And he's 0-4 today. Having a better day is his buddy Sam Crawford. Crawford is 2-3. Here's the roll to Sam Crawford. He's 33. It's higher than his strikeout. It's an out. Ground ball to first base. 1 away, so he advances. Ground ball to first base. Runner advances. We'll do this 3-1. And the runner advances. 2 away, man on second base. Or third base. Brings up Schaefer. Roll the dice. 53. 53 is an out. Ground ball to first base. And that ends the inning. Ground ball, what did I say, to third base? I have short-term memory loss. First base. This time it's unassisted. And he doesn't score. He stays at third. And we go to the 9th inning. It's still 8-2. Detroit is getting their butts kicked here in this game. Go to the Naps. Terry Turner. He's probably the hero of the game. He's 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs. So he's been a stolen base. He has been the man. Roll the dice for Terry Turner. 3-3. He's out this time. Ground ball to first base. He's going to be the pitcher. Gets involved in that one. Next batter. Birmingham. 9-5. It's a error check on the third baseman. So third baseman's Coughlin. The 3. He's an error 3. So it's an error on the third baseman. So we reach on an error. Error to the third baseman. That's the third error of the game for the Tigers. Now let's check to see if Mullen has how many batters he's faced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I think he is up to his last guy. But it doesn't mean, well, it's different for relievers. What it is immediately after that he goes +1 on his, is it +1? See, I'm not super familiar with that. Okay, pitcher. If a reliever uses up his BFR before the end of a 3D period, he's too tired to pitch again. Thus, you increase his grades +1 for every 3 batters, starting immediately with the first batter. So after this batter, Mullins goes up +1 on each of his hit and walk ratings, and it goes up +1 every 3 batters. Okay, so you can leave him in, but he just gets less and less effective. That's the way it works for relievers. It's totally different for the starters. So we got Addy Joss up next. He's going to roll. 31. 31's a line out to the pitcher. Line out to the pitcher. And he stays at first. So that's 2 away. So now he immediately goes +1. So he's now a hit 70, a walk 75. Here's Josh Clark, 79. 79 is not. He hasn't got all the way up there yet, so it's a fly ball to right field, ends the inning. Fly ball right field, ends the inning. And that's the end of the 9th inning. We're going to the bottom of the 9th. 8-2 Cleveland. So we go to home. Next batter. So Joss, 32. He has faced 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So the way it works for starting pitchers, he's still at his usual numbers until he gives up a run. Or not a run, a base runner. Then when he gives up a base runner, his walk and hit rating go up 3. So it's different from the reliever. The reliever automatically goes up by 1 and goes up +1 for every 3 batters. For the starting pitcher, he still stays at his normal ratings, but if he gives up a base runner, it goes up 3. So this will become 65. This will become 73, which is like a normal human pitcher. So even if he gets tired, he's still just as good as a normal pitcher. And then every base runner he gives up after that, it goes up 3, 3, 3. So it just snowballs from there. But he's fine right now. So we bring his Bosch Schmidt. Roll the dice. 29. He is out. Fly ball to right. Fly ball to right. 1 away here in the 9th inning. Next batter. Red Downs. 22. 22 is, so in this case, -3 means he never walks. So it's higher than the single and lower than strikeout is a strikeout. And Bill Coughlin will be the last hitter, perhaps. Bill Coughlin, roll the dice. 24, higher than a strikeout. Ground ball to second base. 4-3. And that is the end of the game. This game senses that the game is over. Joss is the winner. Summers is the loser. And we say okay. And that's the ball game. We can look at the box score. The final score is Cleveland 8 runs, 17 hits and no errors. And Detroit had 2 runs, 9 hits, and 3 errors. The winning pitcher we saw is Addy Joss, 1-0, and Ed Summers is 0-1. He is 11.57 ERA. That's quite a bit higher than 1.64. So that is Rostercard baseball. Of course, it'd be a lot quicker if I didn't talk, but I wanted to explain the game if you hadn't seen it before. And I think it's definitely worth your time. And with this Excel helper, takes away all the objections that everybody had about this game. So we'll sign off there. Thanks for tuning in. This is King Ikeboo coming to you from Bennett Park in Detroit, where the final score, Cleveland 8, Detroit 2. Cleveland leads the series, best of 3 series, 1-0, and the series now goes to Cleveland. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.